Hi everyone, today I'm going to be making frozen yoghurt granola cups. To make sure that you wash your hands with soap so that they are nice and clean when you touch all of your ingredients. Also make sure that you wash your fruit as well. First of all, you're going to need to take a cupcake holder tin and line it with some cupcake cases. First of all, you're going to line the bottom of your cupcake cases with some granola. So you can choose plain granola. I've chosen granola that's got nuts in it. Some granola's got some fruit in it, and that's fine. It's up to you which one you go for. So I'm going to start by putting 3 teaspoons into my cupcake cases. So once you've put all of your granola in your cupcake cases, you're going to add the yogurt on top. So depending on how big your cupcake cases are, you might need more or less than what I'm using. I'm going to put 3 teaspoons in my cupcake case on top of my granola. So this next part is optional. You don't have to add this, but sometimes it's nice to put something like a nut butter, like peanut butter or an almond butter on top of your yogurt. Or if you're going to do something that's a bit more of a dessert, if you want to have this after your dinner, then maybe you can add something like Nutella, and that makes it a bit sweeter. So now it's time to add the fruits to your yogurt. I'm going to need to chop all my fruit up. I've got some strawberries, some raspberries and some blueberries, but you can choose whichever fruit you like to do this. So I'm going to need to take a chopping board and a knife. Now I don't need a sharp knife to do this, so I'm just taking one that I would use to eat my dinner with, and that will cut it really easily. So you don't need something super sharp, and ask an adult to help you with this part as well. The next thing you're going to do is you are going to take your chopped fruit and place it on top of your yogurt. You might also want to add some seeds like chia seeds or some sunflower seeds on top here as well. Now for my chocolate ones, I am going to add some strawberries, and I have put a few magic stars on mine as well, but you can choose whichever chocolate you like. Okay, finally, once you have added everything, you are going to put your whole tray into your freezer. It needs to be flat so that it doesn't move around and leak. So about 5 hours later, and I've taken them out of the freezer, and they are very much frozen. I can squeeze them and they're not going to move anywhere. So they should end up looking a little bit like this. It was a bit tricky to get them out of the tin, but if you put your hand underneath, it should warm it up.
Hello, Miss Finch here. I'm going to be showing you today how to cook a cheese and tomato omelette. So first of all, we need to get all our ingredients together. So I've got some butter, some chopped tomatoes, some grated cheese, I've got 3 eggs and some milk. First of all, we need to crack our eggs into the bowl, making sure that you don't get any shell in the bowl. That's 1, 2. Also, make sure that you wash your hands first. And 3. Once you've cracked these into the bowl, you need to whisk them up like that. Mix them all together. Once you've done that, add a little bit of milk, just to thin the eggs out a little bit. Give that another whisk, That makes it go slightly lighter in colour. And we're going to add our tomatoes, making sure that you've got help when you're chopping up the tomatoes because you have to use a sharp knife. Then we're going to add our cheese. Don't want to put too much in, don't want it to be too cheesy. And then again, give it another mix. Once you've done that, you need to go to your pan and you need to put a little bit of your butter in the pan so it doesn't stick. And again, you might need help with this part. Get a grown-up to help you. And then we have to let that start to melt. While you're doing that, you can get your grill ready because we have to use that as well. And once that starts to melt, like that, put it all over the bottom. Just move the butter around so it gets a good coating so your omelette doesn't stick. And then we're going to pour our omelette into our pan. That's it. And just make sure that your tomatoes are evenly dispersed. And that has to start to cook through. And if you've got a fish slice, this really does help. And you'll see when it starts to cooking through. I might actually move it onto a different, no, well, I don't think that was hot enough. There, we can start to see now that the edges are starting to cook. What we've got to be very careful of, and we have to keep an eye on our flame that we don't burn it. And while that's cooking underneath, I'm going to put the grill on. To do the top part of the omelette, because the pan is going to cook the underside, the underneath of the omelette, and then the grill will cook the top. If you're very good, you might flip your omelette, but I'm not very good at that, so I always put it under the grill. It's starting to cook nicely. It's starting to firm slightly around the edges. You can see on that side it's cooking nicely. You have to always be very careful, make sure you cook your eggs through. It's beginning to form and set all around the outside. And once that starts to happen, you know it's cooking. There we go, look, if I shake it, you can see how it's starting to cook all the way through. once that's cooked underneath and it starts to get nice and firm, if you just touch it at the sides, you can see how it's firming up. You know that the underside is cooking. So you can turn your flame off there, and then it goes under the grill. I might just lower that a little bit. I don't want it to burn. Again, if you need to do that, get a grown-up to help you. And then it goes under the grill for a few minutes to cook through. Keep taking a little peek. Look, yeah, it's starting now. Can you see that? Bubbling up and cooking on the top. Right, I need a few more minutes to go nice and brown. Be ready to eat. Good. Yeah, it's looking good. A few more minutes. Make sure you've got your grill on a high heat, really important. It starts to bubble up. Oh, nearly ready. Give it another minute or two. So it's all nice and brown all over. I think that's done now. Make sure we turn the grill off. And there we have it. A very nice cheese and tomato omelette. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. See you again soon.
Hope you're keeping safe and well. The recipe that I'm going to show you today is a fruit smoothie. This is a really good breakfast or a snack, or you could freeze it and have it later on for a really healthy dessert ice cream. So all you need is half a pint of milk, some fruit. I've got just frozen fruit in a bag, but you could have any fruit you want. You could have bananas, strawberries, anything, but I've gone for a mixed bag of fruit there. And you will need a blender. So I've got my half pint of milk here, and I'm going to just pour in some of the fruit. I don't want loads and loads, maybe just a couple of pieces. There we go. Now it's frozen, so what it's going to do is it's going to be quite hard to mush. If you've got fresh fruit, it will blend really easily, but this is going to be quite difficult and it will turn out almost like a slushy to begin with, which would be really nice as well. It's going to be quite loud and messy. I've made a huge mess, it's gone all over me, so just be careful because it is quite messy. And I'm going to pour in my smoothie. Look at that, it looks absolutely delicious. Look at that lovely colour. So I'm going to have that as a breakfast smoothie, and I've got a little bit left in my jar that I'm going to put in a tub, and I'm going to freeze for some healthy ice cream later. Hope you enjoy the recipe. See you soon, bye.
Hello everybody, Mrs. Teal here. I'm going to show you how to make a delicious traditional fruit crumble. Really, really simple. You basically need 3 ingredients plus your fruit. I have got 200 grams of flour, 100 grams of baking block and 50 grams of sugar. Now, this recipe is very forgiving. You can use plain flour or self-raising. I always use plain. My mum uses self-raising. It doesn't make any difference. Sugar, you can use, usually you would use caster sugar, but I don't have any of that left, so I've used some demerara sugar, which I've ground down with the back of my spoon to make it a bit finer. You can make as much crumble as you like by following the simple proportions. Whatever you've got for flour, you do half that much for fat, and then half of the fat for the sugar. So you can double this or halve it, it's really easy to do. Now for fruit, I have got some rhubarb, which is what I've got in my garden at the moment. I've just had that soaking in a little bit of sugar for a couple of hours, just because it's a very sharp fruit. You can use whatever fruit you like. You could use apples or plums. If you use those, you have to peel them and core them, or take the stones out of the plums. Whatever fruit you like. You could mix fruit, you could have apple and blackberry, you could have rhubarb and strawberry. You can even use tinned fruit. I really like pineapple crumble. If you're going to use tinned fruit though, you do need to drain off most of the juice, otherwise it goes soggy. Now, first thing you need to do, get your bowl and carefully put in your flour. Then I'm going to put in my sugar, and I'm just going to use my spoon for that bit and just give them a little bit of a mix, just so that it's all more or less evenly combined. Now I'm going to take my fat and very carefully, perhaps get a grown-up to do this part, I'm cutting it into smaller pieces. The smaller you do, the easier it's going to be, and then you just drop those into the flour. And then once you've done that, takes a little bit of a while. You can't make this without getting messy fingers, but that's the joy of this dessert. Just like that. Then what I like to do, I'll just cover that slightly with flour to get myself started. Now, I have washed my hands already. I'm going to go in, I'm using my fingertips. So you're going in and you're squishing your fat into your flour and your sugar. It's going to take a little while to do it, but be patient. And what you're trying to get is a sort of a breadcrumby consistency. I'm making a bit of a mess, but never mind. It's only flour. Turn your bowl round if it helps. I find it helps to do this standing up so that you're above it. If you're quite small, it might want to put it on a stool or something, and then you can stand above it and use your body weight to help you do it. You can see it's starting to all go in now. Get a sort of a crumbly texture to it. Just keep going. making sure you're getting all the flour and all the sugar and all the fat together. Now, it's not too bad, a few bigger bits of fat, but it doesn't really matter. It works just as well. I would try and be a bit neater, but I'm doing it quicker than usual so that you can see what to do. Right, now I just get the worst of it off my fingers, and you can see it's not my whole hand that's gone in, it's just my fingers. Normally at this point I would wash my hands just because I don't like sticky fingers, but to speed it up a little bit, I'm just going to show you what I'm doing next. I haven't cooked my rhubarb because I like my fruit quite chunky, but if you want to cook it you can. If you're doing tin fruit, you don't need to cook it and you don't need to add extra sugar. Now, with my spoon, I'm now going to layer my crumble over my fruit mixture. You're aiming to get a nice even coverage all the way over. In my family, we like lots of crumble and not so much fruit in it. If you like less crumble, don't make as much. Now this should get 3 or 4 really good portions. And just put the rest of it in just like that. Now, you want to spread it over so it's even, but you don't want to press it down. If you press it down, you'll end up with quite a solid crumble and it won't be so nice. So just try and get it as even as you can, very, very lightly, and just sort of scuff it up again. And my top was clean before I started. I'm not going to waste those bits, I'm just going to put them on there. Now, the little tip, I usually will then put my crumble onto a baking tray. Now, the reason I do that is sometimes you get a lot of juice coming from the fruit and it can bubble up and go over the side of the bowl. It's a real nuisance then having to try and clean the oven. So I put mine on a baking tray. Now, that's going to go in at about 180 degrees, perhaps 190 if it's not a fan assisted oven, for 20 to 25 minutes. When it comes out, it should be golden brown and it will be very hot, so be careful. You could have it on its own, maybe have some custard, or you could have it with ice cream or cream. And my particular favourite is I like creme fraiche. If you do happen to have any over, it doesn't need to go in the fridge if you haven't got room, providing you're going to eat it the next day. Just let it cool down and put it away so that you can't get flies or anything on it. And then you can microwave it, sort of 50 to 60 seconds should do the job beautifully. But be very careful because the fruit will be very hot. So I hope you have fun and enjoy making your crumble. If you do, send me in some pictures and tell me what it was like.
Today I'm going to show you how to make some seedy banana peanut butter oat cookies. They're so easy to make and delicious and healthy too. And I've got some cooling off here. The first thing you need to do is preheat your oven to 180 degrees centigrade. You need a baking tray with greaseproof paper. Break off 2 very ripe bananas into your bowl. You need to add 3 teaspoons of clear honey, 2 teaspoons of butter, 150 grams of porridge oats, 4 tablespoons of crunchy peanut butter and 3 teaspoons of mixed seeds. You need to stir your mixture until it is very soft, add it to your tray and bake for 15 to 20 minutes. I hope you enjoy them, they really are really delicious.
Thought we'd make some Tiffin or fridge cake for you all to see. So for the ingredients you will need 150 grams of butter, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 3 tablespoons of golden syrup, a tablespoon, and 6 teaspoons of cocoa powder. And what you need to do first of all is put that all in a saucepan and gently melt it over a low heat. Make sure that you ask an adult for help to do this because it can get very, very hot. And once everything's melted, you can give it a good stir. And while you're waiting for that to melt, you need 225 grams of digestive biscuits. Really. We couldn't find the plain ones, so we thought we'd get the chocolate ones to make it even more chocolatey this time. And in a bowl, you need to crush them up. You can keep them quite chunky if you'd like, or you make them really fine, it's up to you. Now our next step is to put this into our bowl, isn't it? So I'm going to pour it in.
Mum, it's not very done yet.
Is it mixed in?
There's still some little...
Okay, give it a good mix again then.
That's the butter.
I think it's nearly melted and it needs to go into our biscuits, doesn't it?
Yummy.
Ready?
No.
Let me do it. And then you can mix it in. So we pour the lovely, look at that gooey mixture. It looks very chocolatey, into our biscuits. And then Martha is going to give it a good mix.
Yes.
This is a fun job. Let's make sure we don't waste any of that chocolate mixture.
Yeah, because I want to eat it all today.
Super yummy.
I want to eat it all today.
All today? My goodness. There we go. That's everything. There you go then, Martha. You get mixed in. So while Martha is mixing all the biscuits and the gooey melted mixture, I'm going to add in some raisins. So you only need a handful, as many as you want really. If you really like raisins, put lots in. If you don't like raisins, don't have to put them in at all. You can also add in things like marshmallows, chocolate chips, anything that you'd like, cherries. It's up to you what you add in.
I don't like raisins.
No, but everybody else does, doesn't it? So we can.
Let's add a couple.
We'll have a few, shall we? There we go. And mix that all in.
That'll be enough. Because I'm going to have some of this Tiffin for my treat for lunch and dinner.
Yeah, that'd be yummy, won't it? Good mixing. So while that is being mixed, I lined a tray here just with a little bit of grease-proof paper, stuck it to the bottom with a bit of butter so that it's easy for me to get it out when it's set.
Yeah, and it doesn't stick.
So it doesn't stick, that's right.
So it doesn't stick.
That's it. How are we doing with the mixing?
Good.
Yeah?
Pretty
It
good.
is looking yummy, that's all I can say. I can't wait to try some.
Me either.
Mmm.
I might lick the bowl instead.
Yeah, I bet lots of you like licking the bowl when you've done some baking. Okay, so once that's mixed up, what we need to do is pour it into our tray. So if I hold the bowl, can you use the spoon and pour it in? Well done. Whoa. And what you need to do is now press it into the tin as best you can.
Okay, I'm going to do
There you go. And while that's been pressed into the tin, like Martha's shown you, you will need to have some chocolate. So you need 200 grams of chocolate, but you can use more if you want because it's going to go on the top of your tiffin or fridge cake. So you melt this carefully. You can either melt this over a low heat or also you can melt it in the microwave. But also again, get an adult to help you because it can get very hot.
very, very, very hot.
That's right, so that's what you need. You can have milk, dark chocolate, white chocolate, whatever you prefer. So we've decided to go for milk chocolate today because we all love milk chocolate in this house.
All our favourite chocolate.
Yeah, all your favourite chocolates. And we've melted it into our bowl like this. You can see. So once Martha's had a go at spreading it out, let me just help you in this corner?
Yeah.
That's it, it looks absolutely fantastic. And I'll just make sure it's all spread out so everybody gets a fair share of it when we cut it up.
Yeah, because I can't really leave the oven yet.
No.
Because it could get a little bit too hot.
That's right.
For me.
Okay, so I think now
Because
it's
when I
fantastic.
take it off, I could burn my hand.
That's right, that's why we have to be very careful or get our adult to help, don't we? Okay, so now what we're doing, look, we're pouring the chocolate. Wow.
Tiffin.
All over.
Yummy
You need our spoon, look.
Tiffin.
You can use a new spoon for this, but we just...
Let's lose it. Because we want it to be really chocolatey.
Yeah, look at that.
Tiffin.
Make sure we don't lose any of the chocolate into our... It
Tiffin.
looks scrubby.
Tiffin. Tiffin. Tiffin.
you need to do now is just spread that chocolate out, nice and carefully. There you go. And then once the chocolate is spread out all over the top, what you need to do is put it in your fridge and just let it set. And probably, I don't know, an hour or so maybe.
Or 10 minutes.
Could be a bit longer than 10 minutes, about an hour I'd say. And then once it's set, you can then take it out of the tin, cut it up into nice little squares, big squares, depending on how. This is all of what we've melted, didn't we, into the biscuits. Cut it up into nice squares and enjoy it with your family. So I hope you've enjoyed us making some tiffin or fridge cake today, and I hope you give it a try with your families at home. It'll be lovely to see you making these creations. Send in some pictures if you do. Say bye.
Bye.
Thank you, bye.
Hello everybody, I hope you're all okay. Now I've been doing lots of baking while we've been off, so I'd like to show you how to make some apple flapjacks. So what you'll need is 250 grams of butter, 175 grams of golden syrup, 250 grams of caster sugar, 425 grams of porridge oats, and 2 apples peeled and chopped. So the first thing you need to do is melt the butter, the golden syrup and the caster sugar in a saucepan, which I've done already, but you'll need an adult to help you with that. So can you see it's nice and smooth? So now what I'm going to do, I am going to add the porridge oats to that. And I'm going to add the apples, the chopped apples. And I'm going to mix that really well. So all the oats and the apples and everything is mixed together nicely. Nearly done. So when you've mixed it all together, you need to put it into a baking tin, which I've got here, and it needs to be lined with some baking paper. So now what you do, once it's all mixed together, you put it into your tin. Oops, it's a bit heavy. And press it down. It's yummy this is, it's really delicious. So get it all out the saucepan and you press it down in the baking tray so it's all level. Make sure we get it in the corners. I'm just going to scrape a bit off here, that's it. Right, so now you put it in the oven at 160 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes, but your adult will do that for you. Well, I've taken them out of the oven, but you'll need your adult to help you to do that. And I've let them cool down, and now I'm going to try one and see what it tastes like. That's really delicious. I hope you try and make some of these flapjacks. They are absolutely delicious, and I shall see you all soon. Bye!
Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to make banana and oat snacks. You are going to need a cup of oats, quarter chocolate, any chocolate that you like, 2 bananas, non-stick baking paper, a bowl, and that is it. Okay, so let's begin. First, peel your bananas. And just put your bananas into the bowl. Now the best bananas for this are ones that are quite overly ripe because they're a lot sweeter. Once you've done that, add your oats. Make sure your hands are clean as well. That's one of the first things you should have done. And now just give it a mix, like so. And just keep mixing it. Now add your chocolate and just give it a good mix with your fork. Okay, so once you've given it a good mix with your fork, you then have to put your hands in. And now make sure your hands are clean. Mine have already been washed, so I'm just going to give it a good squash and a squeeze there, making it all quite mushy, and it all comes together, and that is it. Once your ingredients looks like this and it's all combined together, you need to make little ping pong size balls like that and pop it onto your grease proof paper like that, and you just keep rolling. You don't need anything else until all your mixture's been used up. So they should look like this now. Once that's done, ask an adult to help you pop them into the oven. The oven temperature should be 180 degrees. And they need to stay in there for about 12 to 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, your oaty snack should now be ready. So ask an adult to help you with this next bit because the oven will be very hot, and the tray. They smell really nice. There we go. So here they are, all cooked and ready to eat. Wait for them to cool down, and I hope you enjoy your snack. See you soon.
Fulbridge, this is Galloway here. Today I'm going to share with you how to make tzatziki. Tzatziki is very easy to make because you only need 5 ingredients and it doesn't require any cooking. We need half of a cucumber, 200 millilitres of natural yoghurt, 1 clove of garlic that needs peeling and crushing, 1 heaped teaspoon of dried mint, and 1.5 teaspoons of red vinegar. First of all, you need to wash your hands. After you've washed your hands, you need a bowl and a grater. You need to grate your cucumber into a sieve which is over your bowl. You grate until all of the cucumber has been used. Once that's done, you need to put your clean hands into the sieve and squeeze the cucumber water out. Then tip the cucumber water away, tip the cucumber into the bowl. Then you need to measure 200 millilitres of yoghurt. The yoghurt gets poured on top of the cucumber. The garlic, which has been peeled and crushed, gets added to the mixture, along with 1 heaped teaspoon of dried mint and 1.5 teaspoons of red vinegar. Then all you need to do is stir until all of the ingredients are mixed together, and there you have your tzatziki. Tzatziki can be served as a dip, very, very nice, with sliced peppers or even some fresh bread. But my favourite way of eating tzatziki is to have a flatbread, put lots of chopped salad on the top, add some sliced cooked chicken, and then a huge dollop of tzatziki on the top. fold it all up and eat. I hope you enjoy it. Bye! Hi, this is Mrs. Bailey and Gracie.
Hi.
We're going to make some egg-free banana muffins. So over here we've got all the ingredients. We've got the flour already weighed, we've got brown sugar, and we've got baking powder ready to add, and we've used olive oil, so olive oil spread which we've melted in the microwave. Gracie has put the muffin cases all ready to add the mixture to, and now she's going to mash the bananas. And after we've mashed the bananas, we're going to add in the other ingredients. Very simple, mix them all together. Gracie has washed her hands, so it doesn't matter just putting her fingers in. Going to be all mixed up together, all the ingredients, and then baked in the oven on gas mark 4. It says 20 to 30 minutes. You just need to keep checking them. So bananas have got to be really squished up. Squish, squish, squish. So the bananas are really, really well mashed up. You can either use a fork or a potato masher, but the potato masher is probably easier. So now in the bowl is the mashed up bananas, the brown sugar. You don't need to use brown sugar, but we like brown sugar. And the flour and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. So that's all going to get mixed up together. Mixed very carefully by Gracie. And then we're going to pop it into the muffin cases and it will get cooked in the oven. So Gracie has very, very carefully mixed them all together. Doesn't matter if you get still little lumps of banana in, because they just melt in when you cook them in the oven. We don't put chocolate chips in ours, do we, Gracie? No, but you can if you want to, because chocolate and banana goes very well together. Okay, these are going to go into the muffin cases now. So Grace is very carefully now filling up the muffin tins. Don't fill them up too much. It's okay. There's one. Very good. Oh yeah. And another one, Gracie. Okay. Fill it up. So we've made 9 muffins, which are now going to go into the oven on gas mark 4, and they'll take 20 minutes or so, but just check them and make sure that they're not overcooking. Okay, and we'll show you when they're finished. Bye.
Good morning. Today I'm going to show you how to make celery soup. Now, I'm making celery soup, but any soup can be made this way. Today it's just celery is the main ingredient. But to make any soup that you want to, as long as you've got carrot, little bit of celery, onion, vegetable stock cube, and then whatever vegetable that you want to make the soup to be as your main thing. Okay, so today it's celery for me. Okay, so I've already taken the skin off the onion just to make it a bit quicker. I'm just going to carefully cut the onion, pressing down, always pressing down. And I'm going to put them, all the vegetables, into my saucepan, which I've put a little drop of olive oil in, because we're going to fry them for a few minutes first. So in goes the onion. We've got some garlic here, that makes it really tasty. I haven't taken the skin off that yet, so carefully take the skin off. Probably should be doing this with a smaller knife. There we go. So skin's off, we don't want the skin. That goes in there, ready for the Harry bin. Or actually, you could put it in compost. We've started to make some compost in the last few weeks. So we're going to just slice up the garlic a little bit. You don't have to be too careful about, well, how small you make it, because we're going to use a whizzer later to whiz it all up. Here we go with the carrot. I just take the ends off and carefully chop that into pieces. Mind your fingers, we haven't got any spare ones. That goes in. Now look how easy this can be. I've already washed all the vegetables, by the way. I'm just going to take the end off that, and here we go, the whole thing. If you can hear a funny noise, it's my kettle on the cooker already boiling. Might have to take that off in a minute. Let's put these in the saucepan. You really don't need to be buying already prepared soup while we've got this time at home. Fresh soup is so much nicer. Now, like Jamie Oliver says, the leaves can go in, everything. There we go. Sorted. I'm going to take this over to the cooker. Take the kettle off for a minute. Give this a little fryer. Just brings all the flavours out. There we go. Can leave that for a minute now. So here we are. Everything's cooking down a little bit now. And those flavours have been coming out as it's been cooking. We're going to change it into the next stage now. We're going to add some hot water. Very carefully. It sounds different now. And we're just going to cover the vegetables. Oh, looks like I just about got enough there. Now I'm going to add my vegetable stock cube. And a little bit of pepper and salt. Not much salt, because it's not very good for you. And the celery is a little bit salty anyway. Okay, so that's going to cook now for about 15 minutes. I'm going to put the lid on it and let it just cook slowly. I think I've got the right size lid. Let's check. Yep, that's the one. Okay, we're going to leave that to simmer now for 15 minutes. See you soon. Okay, there's our celery soup, all ready to serve. I didn't need the extra liquid, so I can keep that for a soup for another day, for a different soup, because that'll be lovely. All I need to do now is serve some up. There we go. Some for me. Some for Mr. Right. And we've got enough in there for tomorrow. Okay, and that's only cost us probably £1, maybe £1.50. Easy. Happy soup making.